For a moment, there is only silence. Not the silence of an empty place, but the quiet stillness that exists just before dawn, when the world seems to pause between one day and the next. You slowly open your eyes. Soft morning light filters through delicate sheets of rice paper. The glow is warm, gentle, almost weightless. Outside, a cool breeze stirs the bamboo leaves. They whisper together in slow, graceful movements. The sound is unlike the forests of the north, unlike the waves of distant fjords, unlike the winds that crossed the deserts of Egypt. This is another world entirely. It is the year **1600***. Japan stands at the edge of a new era. The long years of conflict are slowly coming to an end. Villages awaken beneath castle towns. Merchants prepare their shops. Farmers walk toward emerald rice fields. Samurai begin another day of duty. And throughout the country, life follows a quiet rhythm shaped by nature. You rise from your woven tatami mat. The straw beneath your feet feels cool and firm. The room around you is beautifully simple. Smooth wooden beams support the roof overhead. Sliding shoji screens soften the morning light. A single hanging scroll decorates one wall. Beside it rests a small vase holding only 3 freshly cut branches of white plum blossoms. Nothing more, nothing less. Every object has been chosen with care. Nothing asks for attention. Everything invites calm. You slide the paper door open. The garden waiting outside is covered with morning dew. Tiny droplets rest upon carefully trimmed moss. Flat stepping stones disappear between patches of emerald green. A small koi pond reflects the pale pink sky above. Orange and white fish glide silently beneath the surface, leaving only gentle ripples behind. A stone lantern stands quietly beside the water. Its surface is covered with soft moss gathered over many seasons. From somewhere beyond the garden wall comes the clear sound of a temple bell. One slow note, then silence. Its echo drifts gently across the valley before fading into the cool morning air. Birds begin greeting the sunrise. A Japanese bush warbler sings from the branches of a flowering cherry tree. Nearby, a bamboo fountain slowly fills with water. When it becomes heavy enough, it tips forward. A single hollow knock echoes softly through the garden. Then it returns to its place, waiting patiently to begin again. The air smells wonderfully fresh. Wet earth, pine, cherry blossoms, fresh tea leaves drying somewhere nearby. You take a slow breath. The fragrance itself feels peaceful. Beyond the garden, a narrow stone path winds between wooden homes with gently curved tiled roofs. Thin streams of smoke rise from kitchen hearths. Somewhere, rice begins steaming for breakfast. The comforting aroma drifts quietly through the village. An elderly gardener kneels beside a flowering shrub. Using a small pair of scissors, he trims only a single branch before stopping to observe the shape once more. He does not hurry. Beauty reveals itself slowly. Across the lane, a young apprentice carefully sweeps fallen cherry blossom petals from a wooden porch. The petals continue falling even as he works. He smiles softly. He understands there is no need to finish quickly. Some tasks are never truly complete. They are simply part of the day. You continue along the narrow path. Small wooden bridges cross gentle streams filled with perfectly clear water. Tiny fish dart between smooth stones. Dragonflies hover above the surface before vanishing among tall reeds. Ahead, mist hangs lightly above the rice fields. The flooded terraces mirror the brightening sky so perfectly that the clouds seem to float beneath your feet. Farmers arrive quietly carrying simple wooden tools across their shoulders. They greet one another with respectful bows. Few words are spoken. The morning itself seems worthy of silence. Far beyond the fields, the dark silhouette of a great castle rises above the valley. Its white walls catch the very first golden rays of the sun. For just a brief moment, the entire landscape glows. The mountains, the cherry trees, the bamboo groves, the tiled rooftops, the peaceful waters of the rice fields. Everything awakens together, not with noise, but with light. And as the first full sunrise spreads across feudal Japan, your quiet journey has only just begun. The sun climbs a little higher above the valley. The cool mist that rested upon the rice fields begins to dissolve into the warming air. One by one, the narrow streets of the village awaken. Not with loud voices, not with hurried footsteps, but with the quiet confidence of people who have followed the same peaceful rhythm for generations. You leave the garden behind and continue along a stone pathway bordered by low wooden fences. Morning dew still clings to the bamboo leaves overhead. Whenever the breeze passes through, tiny droplets fall gently onto the smooth stones below. The sound is so soft it almost disappears before reaching your ears. Ahead, the village slowly opens into a small marketplace. Unlike the enormous forums of Rome or the busy harbors of distant northern villages, this market feels intimate, comfortable. Everything seems carefully arranged. Wooden stalls stand beneath simple tiled roofs. Fresh vegetables are displayed inside woven bamboo baskets. Bundles of green onions, white daikon radishes, bright orange persimmons, deep purple eggplants. Each basket is placed with remarkable care, almost as though every stall is its own quiet work of art. A merchant carefully brushes a single fallen cherry blossom petal away from a polished wooden counter. He smiles softly before bowing as the first customer approaches. No shouting, no bargaining, only quiet greetings exchanged with genuine respect. Nearby, an elderly woman arranges handmade ceramic bowls upon a linen cloth. Every bowl is unique. Some carry soft blue patterns resembling flowing water. Others are decorated with delicate branches of plum blossoms. None are perfectly symmetrical. And perhaps that is exactly what makes them beautiful. The Japanese have long appreciated the quiet elegance of things shaped by time and human hands. You pause beside a tea cellar. Steam rises gently from a simple iron kettle resting above glowing charcoal. The aroma is delicate. Fresh green tea, warm wood, a hint of roasted rice. The tea master pours slowly into small ceramic cups. No movement is wasted. Every gesture appears almost effortless. Watching him, you realize that making tea here is not simply preparing a drink. It is a moment of stillness, a chance to slow the mind before the day truly begins. Several travelers rest quietly beneath the shade of a flowering cherry tree. Their straw hats lie beside them while they sip warm tea in comfortable silence. A young child watches pink petals drift through the air before trying to catch one in the palm of her hand. Sometimes she succeeds. Most of the time, the breeze gently carries the blossom away before it reaches her fingers. She laughs each time. The blossoms continue falling. Patiently, gracefully. Nearby, a carpenter has opened the sliding doors of his workshop. The scent of freshly cut cedar drifts into the street. Inside, wooden planes glide across smooth boards with a slow, satisfying rhythm. As they change, pause. As they change, each stroke leaves the surface softer than before. Thin curls of fragrant wood gather upon the floor like ribbons. A little farther along, a calligrapher sits quietly beside a low table. Fresh ink rests inside a shallow stone dish. He dips his brush carefully, then allows it to hover above the paper for several seconds before making the first stroke. Nothing begins in haste. The brush moves with calm certainty. Every line feels deliberate. Every pause feels meaningful. Several villagers stop briefly to admire his work before continuing along the street. No one interrupts. Silence itself seems part of the craft. From somewhere nearby comes the cheerful sound of water turning a small wooden mill wheel. The gentle creak blends beautifully with birdsong drifting from nearby gardens. Nature and village life seem impossible to separate. One flows naturally into the other. The market slowly becomes a little busier. Farmers arrive carrying baskets suspended from bamboo shoulder poles. Fresh mushrooms gathered before sunrise. Bundles of fragrant herbs. Newly harvested bamboo shoots. Still, no one appears rushed. The pace never changes. The village seems to understand that a peaceful morning cannot be hurried. High above the rooftops, colorful koi-shaped windsocks flutter gently from a merchant's home. Their long fabric tails dance gracefully with every passing breeze. Children pause to watch them. So do you. Sometimes beauty asks for nothing more than a few quiet moments of attention. As you continue walking through the market, sunlight filters between the tiled roofs, creating moving patterns across the stone path beneath your feet. A cat stretches lazily beside a basket of woven sandals. It opens one eye as you pass before deciding the morning is still too peaceful to interrupt with movement. You smile. The cat closes its eye once again. The village continues breathing around you. Not loudly, not dramatically, simply, peacefully, and somewhere beyond the marketplace, the sound of flowing water grows steadily clearer. Another quiet path waits to be explored. Leaving the peaceful marketplace behind, you follow the gentle sound of flowing water. The narrow stone street gradually becomes a winding footpath lined with smooth river stones. Cherry blossoms continue drifting lazily through the morning air. Some settle upon the path. Others land softly upon the surface of the stream, where they begin a slow journey carried by the gentle current. The village feels different here. Quieter. The laughter of children fades into the distance. The soft conversations from the market become little more than whispers carried by the breeze. Ahead, the river becomes the only voice. It is neither wide nor deep. Its waters move patiently beneath graceful wooden bridges, reflecting the pale blue sky and the flowering trees that lean gently over its banks. You stop for a moment. Looking into the water, you can see every smooth pebble resting below. Tiny fish glide effortlessly through the current before disappearing beneath the shadows of overhanging branches. The surface remains almost perfectly still. Only the occasional falling blossom disturbs its quiet mirror. A bamboo water wheel turns slowly beside the riverbank. Its rhythm is calm, steady, almost hypnotic. Each wooden paddle enters the water without resistance before rising again, glistening beneath the morning sun. Nearby, a miller quietly adjusts the wheel's wooden axle. He works carefully, not because it is difficult, but because careful work lasts longer. His sleeves are rolled neatly above his wrists. His movements are calm. He pauses often, listening, watching, allowing the water itself to tell him whether everything is working as it should. Beyond the mill stands a small rice polishing house. Its sliding doors remain open to welcome the cool morning air. Inside, woven straw baskets filled with freshly harvested rice rest neatly against polished cedar walls. A young apprentice slowly brushes loose grains from the wooden floor. Each stroke of the broom creates soft patterns in the dust before disappearing completely. Nothing is wasted, not even effort. A narrow wooden bridge crosses the river just ahead. Its dark cedar planks have been worn smooth by countless footsteps. You step onto it slowly. The bridge creaks ever so slightly beneath your weight. Not as a complaint, but as a quiet reminder of the many travelers who crossed before you. From the center of the bridge, the view is peaceful beyond words. The river curves gently through the village. Willow branches brush softly against the water. Bright orange koi gather beneath the shade, their graceful movements creating slow circles that spread outward before fading into silence. A kingfisher suddenly flashes across the stream. Its brilliant blue feathers catch the sunlight for only a heartbeat before it disappears into the trees downstream. The moment is so brief. You almost wonder whether you imagined it. On the opposite bank, an elderly monk kneels beside the water. He fills a simple wooden bucket before pausing to watch the current. For several moments, he remains perfectly still. Perhaps he is praying. Perhaps he is simply appreciating the quiet beauty of the morning. Sometimes those two things become difficult to separate. You continue following the river beyond the bridge. Stone lanterns appear occasionally beneath maple trees, whose leaves shimmer gently in the breeze. Each lantern bears traces of moss gathered through many rainy seasons. Nature and craftsmanship seem to share every corner of this landscape. Neither overwhelms the other. They exist together, in quiet harmony. Farther downstream, a woman rinses freshly dyed fabric in the cool water. Long lengths of indigo cloth sway gracefully beneath the surface before she carefully lifts them into the sunlight. Drops fall slowly back into the river. Tiny circles spread outward, then disappear. The deep blue fabric moves gently with the breeze, almost like flowing water itself. Nearby, two children crouch beside the riverbank, searching for smooth skipping stones. One chooses a perfectly flat pebble and tosses it carefully across the surface. 1, 2, 3, 4 gentle skips. The children smile. No prize is given. None is needed. The joy belongs entirely to the moment. As the sun climbs higher, beams of golden light filter through the willow branches, painting moving patterns across the water. The entire river seems alive with shifting reflections. Sky, leaves, clouds, blossoms. Everything meets upon its surface for only a moment before quietly drifting away. You find a smooth stone beside the bank and sit for a while. The world asks nothing of you here, only that you listen. To the flowing water, to the turning wheel, to the whispering bamboo, to the birds hidden among flowering branches. Every sound seems perfectly placed. Nothing interrupts the silence. Each sound becomes part of it. Looking downstream, you realize the river has quietly connected everything you have seen today. The gardens, the marketplace, the rice fields, the homes, the people. Just as the current flows gently from one place to another, life here moves with the same quiet grace. You rise once more. The river continues its endless journey toward places unseen. And somewhere beyond the next bend, another peaceful corner of feudal Japan patiently awaits your arrival. The river remains behind you. Its quiet current continues its endless journey through the valley, carrying fallen blossoms toward places unseen. Ahead, the stone path becomes narrower. The carefully tended gardens gradually disappear. The wooden homes become fewer. The gentle sounds of village life fade into the distance. Soon, only the wind remains. Before you rises a forest unlike any you have walked through before. Tall bamboo stretches toward the sky in endless rows. Their smooth green trunks seem almost impossibly straight, disappearing into a canopy that gently sways high above. As you step beneath them, the world changes. The sunlight becomes softer, filtered into countless ribbons of pale gold. Every movement of the wind creates a quiet conversation among the bamboo. The hollow stems touch one another gently. A soft wooden whisper fills the air. It is neither music nor silence. It exists somewhere beautifully between the two. The path beneath your feet is covered with fallen bamboo leaves. Each step produces only the faintest sound. The earth feels cool, comfortably shaded. Even on the warmest summer days, forests like these remain peaceful places where travelers pause before continuing their journeys. You walk slowly. There is no reason to hurry. The forest seems to reward those willing to match its rhythm. Sunbeams drift slowly across the path as the bamboo bends with every passing breeze. Light appears, then disappears, then returns again. The changing patterns feel almost alive. Somewhere overhead, a small bird begins to sing. Its clear notes echo gently through the tall bamboo before fading into the distance. Moments later, another answers from farther within the forest. For a while, their quiet conversation accompanies your walk. A narrow stream appears beside the path. Unlike the wider river near the village, this one is scarcely more than a ribbon of clear water winding silently between moss-covered stones. Tiny ferns grow along its banks. Their delicate leaves sparkle with droplets left behind by the morning dew. The water is so transparent that every pebble resting beneath its surface can be counted with ease. A single maple leaf drifts slowly downstream. It turns once, twice, before disappearing beneath a small wooden footbridge. The bridge itself is wonderfully simple. Only a few cedar planks supported by carefully placed stones. No decoration, no ornament, only quiet usefulness. You pause at its center, listening. The bamboo sways. The stream murmurs below. Somewhere far away, a temple bell sounds once. Its deep tone reaches the forest only as a gentle echo. The sound lingers for several long moments before becoming part of the silence once again. Beyond the bridge, the path widens slightly. There, seated upon a flat stone, is an elderly basket maker. Thin strips of fresh bamboo rest neatly beside him. His hands move with remarkable confidence. One strip crosses another, then another. Gradually, a basket begins to take shape. He never forces the bamboo. Each strip bends only as far as it wishes. Anything more would cause it to break. Watching him, you begin to understand why patience appears in every craft throughout this land. Wood, clay, paper, stone, tea, even bamboo. Everything asks to be understood before it can be shaped. The craftsman notices your quiet curiosity. He smiles warmly. Without speaking, he offers you one slender strip of bamboo. It feels surprisingly smooth, almost silky beneath your fingertips. Light enough to bend, strong enough to last for many years. Nature often hides remarkable strength inside gentle forms. Nearby, several young shoots emerge from the forest floor. Only weeks ago, they were invisible. Soon, they will stand as tall as the older stems surrounding them. Growth here is almost silent, yet astonishingly steady. A breeze passes through once more. This time, the entire forest moves together. Thousands of bamboo stems lean gracefully before slowly returning upright. The sound resembles gentle rain falling upon distant leaves. Calm, steady, endlessly soothing. You continue walking deeper beneath the emerald canopy. The sunlight grows softer still. Tiny butterflies drift lazily between patches of light. Dragonflies hover above the stream for a few quiet moments before disappearing among the reeds. Nothing here competes for attention. Every living thing seems perfectly content simply to exist. As the forest begins to thin, brighter light appears ahead. Beyond the final line of bamboo, rolling hills and carefully tended tea fields begin to reveal themselves beneath the afternoon sky. The breeze carries with it a new fragrance. Fresh tea leaves, warm earth, a hint of flowering jasmine. Another peaceful chapter of your journey is waiting just beyond the trees. You take one final look back. The bamboo continues its quiet dance with the wind. Unhurried, graceful, timeless. Then, with slow and gentle steps, you continue toward the hills. The gentle hills slowly disappear behind you. The neat rows of tea plants continue climbing the slopes, but the narrow path now leads toward a quieter place nestled beneath tall maple trees. The afternoon light has softened. Golden sunlight filters gently through the leaves, painting slow-moving patterns across the ground. The breeze grows calmer. Even the birds seem to sing a little more quietly here. Ahead stands a modest wooden tea house. Its walls are built from cedar that has slowly deepened in color through many seasons of rain and sunshine. The roof curves gently toward the garden. A single stone lantern rests beside the entrance. Its weathered surface is covered with soft moss, giving the impression that it has always belonged here. A bamboo fountain tips forward. Water falls into the stone basin with a hollow knock. Then silence returns. Moments later, the quiet rhythm begins again. You remove your sandals before stepping onto the polished wooden floor. The cool timber feels wonderfully smooth beneath your feet. Inside, the room is beautifully simple. Tatami mats cover the floor in careful geometric patterns. A single hanging scroll decorates the far wall. Its graceful brushstrokes speak of harmony, though no translation seems necessary. Beside it rests a small arrangement of seasonal flowers gathered from the surrounding hills. Nothing competes for attention. Nothing feels unnecessary. The room invites only one thing: stillness. A tea master kneels quietly beside a cast-iron kettle suspended above glowing charcoal. Steam rises in delicate ribbons before disappearing into the afternoon light. His movements are unhurried. He reaches for a bamboo ladle, lifts water from the kettle, returns it gently. Every action appears practiced thousands of times. Yet nothing feels mechanical. Each movement receives the same quiet attention as the first. Outside, a breeze carries several cherry blossom petals across the open veranda. They drift silently into the garden before settling upon bright green moss. No one pauses to remove them. They belong exactly where they have landed. The tea master carefully wipes a ceramic bowl with a folded linen cloth. He turns it slowly in his hands, appreciating its shape. The glaze is uneven. Tiny imperfections catch the afternoon light. They are not hidden. They are admired. Time has left gentle marks upon the bowl. Rather than diminishing its beauty, they have become part of it. Fresh green tea is measured with a small bamboo scoop. The fine powder settles softly into the bowl. Warm water follows. Then comes the whisk. Its delicate bamboo tines move in quiet circles. The surface slowly transforms into smooth emerald foam. The fragrance rises immediately. Fresh grass after spring rain. Young leaves warmed by gentle sunlight. A hint of sweetness carried by clean mountain air. The tea master offers the bowl with both hands. You receive it with the same quiet respect. The ceramic feels warm, comforting. Before drinking, you pause. Not because anyone has instructed you to, because the peaceful moment seems worthy of appreciation. The first sip is gentle, earthy, freshy, simple. Its warmth spreads slowly through your hands before reaching the rest of you. Outside, a wind chime sings softly beneath the roof. One clear note, then another. The sound blends with the distant murmur of flowing water somewhere beyond the garden wall. No conversation interrupts the silence. Words feel unnecessary. Sometimes understanding grows most easily in quiet places. The tea master smiles. His eyes rest briefly upon the garden beyond the open doorway. Sunlight now reaches the stone lantern. A butterfly settles upon one of the flowers before lifting effortlessly into the warm afternoon air. Nothing remains still forever, yet nothing seems hurried either. The ceremony comes to its natural end. The bowl is cleaned with the same care that welcomed it. The bamboo whisk is returned to its place. The charcoal continues glowing quietly beneath the kettle. You step outside once more. The garden appears even more peaceful than before. Perhaps nothing has changed. Or perhaps you have. The narrow path continues beyond the tea house, winding gently toward distant cedar forests where the evening light has begun to settle between the trees. Another quiet journey awaits, and with slow, thoughtful steps, you continue on. The tea house slowly disappears behind you. Its quiet garden remains hidden beneath the maple trees, where the gentle sound of the bamboo fountain continues long after it has faded from sight. The narrow path begins to climb. Stone steps emerge one by one beneath the shade of towering cedar trees. Their trunks rise high into the afternoon sky, straight and silent, their bark carrying the memory of many centuries. The air grows cooler with every step. The warmth of the valley is replaced by the fresh scent of cedar needles, damp moss, and clean mountain air. Somewhere nearby, a stream tumbles gently over smooth rocks. You cannot see it yet, only hear its calm voice following you through the forest. Above, sunlight filters through layers of evergreen branches. It reaches the forest floor in narrow beams that drift slowly as the breeze moves the canopy. Tiny particles of dust and pollen float through the light like golden stars suspended in the air. Nothing feels rushed. The forest encourages slower footsteps. You naturally match its rhythm. Soon, you notice small stone statues standing quietly beside the path. Each wears a tiny red cloth tied carefully around its neck. Fresh flowers have been placed before several of them. No one is nearby, yet someone visits often enough to leave these gentle offerings. You pause for a respectful moment before continuing upward. The stone steps become slightly steeper. A wooden handrail follows the mountainside, polished smooth by generations of travelers. You imagine countless people walking this very path. Farmers offering thanks after a successful harvest. Parents praying for their children. Travelers seeking a peaceful night's rest. Monks making the same quiet journey they have made every morning for years. The forest has watched them all. Ahead, the sound of flowing water grows clearer. The path opens onto a small clearing where a spring emerges directly from the mountainside. Crystal clear water spills continuously into a broad stone basin before continuing downhill as a narrow stream. A bamboo ladle rests neatly upon a wooden stand nearby. The spring asks for nothing. It simply continues flowing. You kneel beside the basin. The water is wonderfully cold. As you cup a little in your hands, it feels impossibly fresh. For a brief moment, the entire mountain seems present within a single drop. Cool stone, fallen leaves, rain from distant clouds, snow that melted weeks ago. Everything has become this quiet spring. Refreshed, you continue climbing. The cedar forest begins to thin. Beyond the final steps stands a traditional temple gate. Its heavy timber beams glow softly beneath the afternoon light. The tiled roof curves gracefully toward the sky. Tiny bells suspended beneath the eaves sway gently whenever the wind passes through. Their delicate chime lasts only a heartbeat before silence returns. Passing beneath the gate, you enter another peaceful world. The temple courtyard is swept perfectly clean. Fine gravel surrounds carefully placed stones. A single pine tree leans slightly toward the main hall, its branches shaped with patient care over many decades. Nothing appears accidental. Every detail feels intentional. A monk slowly crosses the courtyard, carrying a wooden bucket. His footsteps are almost silent upon the smooth stone path. He bows gently as he passes. No words are exchanged. None are needed. The temple itself speaks through quietness. You remove your shoes before stepping onto the polished wooden veranda. The boards respond with the faintest creak beneath your feet. Inside, soft daylight enters through paper screens. The fragrance of cedar, incense, and aged timber fills the cool air. Several candles burn steadily before a simple altar. Their small flames remain perfectly calm, not because the room is sealed from the outside world, but because peace itself seems to live here. The monk kneels beside one of the open windows. He rings a small bronze bell. Its clear tone spreads gently through the hall. The sound travels into the surrounding forest, where it mingles with birdsong and the whisper of cedar branches. Slowly, the echo fades. You sit quietly upon the polished floor. Looking beyond the open veranda, you see the valley stretching far below. The tea fields, the winding river, the distant rooftops, the castle standing watch upon its hill. Everything you have explored today now appears connected by the same peaceful landscape. From this height, there is no separation between village and forest, between mountain and river, between people and nature. They exist together as one quiet world. A cool breeze enters the hall, carrying the scent of cedar and the faint perfume of wild mountain flowers. The candles continue burning. The bell grows silent. The afternoon drifts gently toward evening. And for a little while longer, there is nowhere else you would rather be. Leaving the quiet mountain temple behind, you follow a gently descending path carved into the hillside. The cedar forest gradually begins to open. The cool mountain air carries a new fragrance. Wood smoke, freshly cooked rice, a faint trace of charcoal. Somewhere below, the evening meal is already being prepared. The sun has begun its slow descent toward the western mountains. Its golden light no longer falls from above. Instead, it stretches across the landscape, bathing every rooftop, every tree, and every rice field in warm shades of amber. The valley has changed once again. Morning belonged to mist. Afternoon belonged to gentle sunlight. Now, the land belongs to evening. Far below, the castle town slowly comes into view. Unlike the quiet farming village you explored earlier, this settlement hums with a different rhythm. Still peaceful, but slightly more alive. White plaster walls reflect the fading sunlight. Dark wooden homes stand shoulder to shoulder along carefully planned streets. Stone canals carry fresh mountain water between the buildings. Small arched bridges connect one neighborhood to another. Everything feels carefully arranged, as though every street has quietly found its proper place over many generations. You continue toward the town gate. Two samurai stand watch beside heavy wooden doors reinforced with black iron bands. Their polished armor catches the last golden rays of the day. Neither speaks. Their calm posture alone communicates quiet confidence. One notices your approach and offers a respectful nod. Not suspicious, not unfriendly, simply acknowledging another peaceful traveler. Beyond the gate, the streets remain wonderfully orderly. Merchants slowly begin closing their shops. Sliding wooden shutters move gently into place. Lanterns are lifted beneath deep roof eaves one by one. Each paper lantern glows with a warm orange light that grows brighter as the daylight slowly fades. A lantern maker carefully paints fresh black characters upon new rice paper shades. His brush glides effortlessly across the delicate surface. The ink dries almost immediately in the cool evening air. Nearby, another craftsman trims thin strips of bamboo that will soon become the frames of tomorrow's lanterns. Every object begins in patient hands. Children chase one another quietly across a narrow bridge spanning a shallow canal. Their laughter echoes gently between the wooden buildings before disappearing into the evening. An elderly woman smiles as she watches them pass. Her hands never stop folding freshly washed cloth. The rhythm of her work continues naturally alongside the rhythm of the town. A small noodle shop welcomes its first evening guests. Steam rises from broad iron pots. The comforting aroma of warm broth, soy, and freshly prepared noodles drifts through the street. Travelers remove their sandals before stepping inside. Soft conversation follows. Never loud, never hurried. Only the pleasant sound of neighbors ending another peaceful day together. You continue along the canals. The water reflects both the fading sky and the glowing lanterns now appearing above the streets. Each reflection trembles gently whenever the evening breeze brushes across the surface. The entire town seems wrapped in soft light. Even the shadows appear warm. Ahead, a bridge leads toward the outer gardens surrounding the great castle. The massive stone foundations rise quietly above carefully tended pine trees. White walls glow softly beneath the setting sun. Layer upon layer of elegant rooftops climb toward the highest watchtower. From here, the castle does not feel intimidating. Instead, it feels protective, a silent guardian overlooking the valley below. Somewhere within the castle grounds, a temple bell sounds once. Its deep voice spreads slowly across the rooftops. Shopkeepers pause for only a heartbeat. Several travelers bow their heads briefly. Then the gentle rhythm of evening quietly continues. The sky begins changing once again. Golden light slowly fades into soft shades of rose. Then lavender. Then the deep blue that always arrives before night. Above the rooftops, the first swallows return to their nests beneath the curved eaves. One by one, paper lanterns brighten the streets until they become small rivers of warm light stretching through the town. The mountains surrounding the valley grow darker. Yet the town itself becomes brighter. Not because of the sun, but because its people have quietly created their own evening stars. You stop for a moment upon the wooden bridge, looking down into the canal below. Lanterns drift across its surface as shimmering reflections. The water carries them gently downstream without ever disturbing their peaceful glow. The day is ending, but another beautiful chapter is only beginning. As the cool evening breeze moves softly through the castle town, you continue walking toward the quiet lanternlit streets, waiting just beyond the bridge. The castle town slowly settles into evening. The last colors of sunset fade behind the distant mountains, leaving the sky painted in gentle shades of violet and deep blue. One by one, the paper lanterns grow brighter. Their warm amber light spills softly across polished wooden walkways and quiet stone streets. The bustle of the afternoon has disappeared. Merchants have closed their shutters. The canals flow undisturbed beneath small arched bridges. Even the breeze seems to move more carefully now, as though unwilling to disturb the calm that has settled over the town. You leave the main street and follow a narrow lantern-lit path toward a nearby garden. Tall bamboo fences shield it from the noise of the town. Beyond a simple wooden gate, another peaceful world reveals itself. Stepping stones curve gently through a carpet of emerald moss. A small stream winds between carefully arranged rocks before disappearing beneath an elegant wooden bridge. Maple trees spread graceful branches overhead. Their leaves catch the lantern light, glowing with deep shades of crimson and gold. The garden has not been designed to impress. It has been designed to slow the mind. Every stone, every tree, every turn in the path invites you to pause. A gardener quietly sweeps fallen leaves from the stepping stones with a hand-bound broom. His movements are slow and unbroken. The broom whispers across the ground. Softly, steadily. When a single leaf drifts down from a maple branch moments after he has passed, he simply smiles. He does not hurry back to remove it. Some things belong exactly where they fall. A narrow stream crosses your path. Its water reflects dozens of glowing lanterns hanging from low wooden posts along the bank. The reflections stretch and ripple gently before returning to perfect stillness. Several koi glide beneath the surface. Their bright orange scales shimmer briefly whenever they pass beneath the lantern light. A tiny wooden pavilion stands beside the water. Its roof shelters a single bench facing the stream. You sit quietly. The polished wood still holds a little warmth from the afternoon sun. A cool evening breeze carries the fragrance of cedar, damp earth, and blooming jasmine through the garden. Somewhere beyond the trees, a bamboo fountain tips forward. A hollow knock echoes softly across the water. Then silence returns. Several fireflies begin appearing among the reeds. Their tiny lights blink slowly above the grass. For a moment, they resemble drifting stars that have wandered down from the evening sky. They rise, fade, glow once more, never in a hurry. An elderly couple walks slowly across the garden bridge. Neither speaks. Their footsteps are almost silent. They stop together in the middle of the bridge, to admire the reflections below. After a quiet moment, they continue their walk beneath the lanterns. No conversation seems necessary. The beauty surrounding them speaks gently enough for both. Near the far side of the garden, a young musician sits beneath a flowering tree. Resting across his knees is a traditional bamboo flute. He closes his eyes, then begins to play. The melody is delicate, unhurried. It rises softly into the cool evening air before drifting among the maple branches. The notes seem to linger above the stream, blending naturally with the murmur of flowing water and the whisper of leaves. Even after the final note fades, the garden somehow feels full of music. The lanterns continue glowing patiently. The fireflies drift through the darkness. The stream follows its endless path toward the valley below. You notice how every peaceful place you have visited today has shared something in common. The tea fields, the bamboo forest, the mountain temple, the rivers, the gardens. None asked you to move quickly. None demanded your attention. Instead, each quietly invited you to slow down enough to notice the beauty already waiting there. You rise from the pavilion and continue along the lantern path. Beyond the final maple tree, the rooftops of the castle town glow warmly beneath the deepening night. Above them, the first stars begin appearing one by one. The evening has only just begun. And somewhere ahead, another quiet corner of feudal Japan waits beneath the lantern light. Leaving the lantern garden behind, you step once more onto the narrow stone path. The evening has deepened. The last traces of twilight have slipped gently beyond the western mountains, leaving the valley wrapped beneath a calm indigo sky. The paper lanterns now provide almost all the light. They sway gently beneath the wooden eaves of homes and tea houses, their warm glow reflecting softly upon polished stone and quiet canals. The village has not fallen asleep. It has simply become quieter. From an open doorway comes the faint sound of a shamisen. Its gentle strings are played slowly, each note allowed to linger before the next begins. The melody is calm, unhurried. It seems less like a performance and more like a conversation with the evening itself. You continue walking. Ahead, a small bridge crosses the canal once more. The water has become perfectly still. The reflections of lanterns remain so clear that it becomes difficult to tell where the world ends and its mirror begins. A single maple leaf lands upon the surface. Tiny circles spread outward. The lanterns shimmer for only a moment before becoming perfectly calm again. The bridge leads toward a quiet residential street. Wooden homes stand side by side behind carefully tended gardens. Sliding doors remain partially open, allowing cool night air to drift gently through each home. Inside one house, a family gathers around a low wooden table. Bowls of steaming rice, grilled river fish, pickled vegetables, simple food prepared with quiet care. No voices are raised. Occasionally, someone smiles. Occasionally, someone laughs softly. The warmth of the room reaches you long before the aroma does. A few doors farther along, an elderly craftsman sits beneath the light of a single oil lamp. His hands continue repairing a folding fan whose paper has torn near one edge. The bamboo ribs remain perfectly straight. Only the delicate paper requires replacing. With remarkable patience, he smooths the fresh sheet into place using only his fingertips. There is no urgency. The fan has waited this long. It can wait another few careful moments. A cat sleeps peacefully upon the wooden veranda beside him. Its tail twitches once as a moth circles the lantern overhead. Neither seems concerned by the other. The night belongs equally to them both. Farther ahead, the path leaves the homes behind and follows the edge of a small pond surrounded by reeds. The water reflects the moon, now climbing slowly above the cedar-covered hills. Its pale silver light stretches across the pond in a gentle ribbon. Frogs begin their quiet evening chorus, not loud enough to disturb the silence, only enough to become part of it. Fireflies drift slowly above the reeds once again. Some hover only inches above the water. Others wander toward the trees before fading into the darkness. They seem to appear and disappear without effort, like tiny stars deciding to visit the earth for a little while. You pause beside a weathered stone bench. The night air feels pleasantly cool after the warmth of the day. Somewhere beyond the pond, a bamboo wind chime answers the breeze with a delicate note. A heartbeat later, another responds from a distant veranda. Then silence returns. Looking upward, the sky appears astonishingly clear. Thousands of stars stretch above the valley. The mountains form dark silhouettes beneath them. The castle, once bright beneath the afternoon sun, now stands quietly against the night, its white walls touched only by moonlight. It watches over the town just as it did at sunrise. Unmoving, patient, timeless. You realize that this journey has never truly been about castles, or markets, or temples alone. It has been about rhythm. The rhythm of flowing water, of turning seasons, of careful hands shaping wood, clay, tea, and paper, of people who found beauty not in rushing through life, but in paying attention to it. A gentle breeze passes through the reeds. The pond answers with the faintest ripple. The moon's reflection breaks apart for only a moment before becoming whole again. You take one slow breath, then another. The fragrance of cedar, jasmine, damp stone, and cool night air settles gently around you. The village grows quieter still. Windows close one by one. Lanterns continue glowing. The stars shine steadily overhead. And with calm, unhurried steps, you continue walking beneath the peaceful sky, allowing the quiet night of feudal Japan to unfold one gentle moment at a time. The quiet pond slowly disappears behind you. Its silver reflections remain in your memory as the narrow path winds gently toward the edge of the castle town. The streets have become wonderfully still. Most homes have closed their sliding doors for the evening. Only the soft glow of paper lanterns escapes through the wooden lattice windows. The scent of cedar lingers in the cool night air. Mixed with it comes something warmer. Fresh rice, roasted chestnuts, a faint trace of miso simmering over charcoal. Somewhere ahead, a small traveler's inn welcomes the last visitors of the day. Its wooden sign creaks gently beneath the evening breeze. The building itself is modest. Its roof curves gracefully over a wide veranda where several lanterns burn with quiet amber light. A pair of sandals rests neatly beside the entrance. No voices spill out into the street. Only the comforting crackle of a small hearth can be heard from within. You step onto the polished wooden veranda. The floorboards answer with the softest creak before settling once again into silence. An elderly innkeeper bows with quiet kindness. His face carries the calm expression of someone who has greeted countless travelers over many years. Without asking unnecessary questions, he welcomes you inside. The entrance hall is warm. Tatami mats cover the floor. A small alcove displays a single branch of white camellia arranged inside a simple clay vase. Beside it hangs a scroll painted with only a few graceful brushstrokes. The room needs nothing more. The hearth rests at the center of the common room. A cast-iron kettle hangs above glowing charcoal. Tiny streams of steam rise slowly into the still air before disappearing among the dark timber beams overhead. Several travelers sit quietly nearby. One gently warms his hands around a ceramic cup of tea. Another carefully repairs a straw sandal that has carried him many miles along mountain roads. No one rushes. No one interrupts another's thoughts. The silence is shared comfortably. A young apprentice kneels beside the hearth, adding one small piece of charcoal at a time. The fire brightens gently, never suddenly. Its warm orange glow spreads across the room, painting soft patterns upon the wooden walls. Outside, the wind stirs the bamboo chime hanging beneath the roof. One delicate note enters through the open doorway before fading once more into the night. The innkeeper places a small lacquered tray before you. Steamed rice, a bowl of clear broth, pickled vegetables, grilled river fish. Everything is simple. Everything has been prepared with care. The meal asks for nothing except your attention. As you eat slowly, you notice the quiet rhythm surrounding you. The gentle bubbling of the kettle, the soft rustle of sleeves against tatami, the occasional creak of timber responding to the cool evening air. The sounds are so delicate that they seem less like noise and more like breathing. When the meal has ended, the innkeeper slides open the garden door. Beyond it lies a small courtyard, illuminated only by moonlight. White gravel glows softly beneath the stars. A stone basin reflects the moon with remarkable clarity. Nearby, a dwarf pine casts a delicate shadow across the moss. Nothing moves except the branches touched by the breeze. You step into the garden. The night feels wonderfully cool after the warmth of the hearth. Above you, the sky stretches endlessly across the mountains. The moon now hangs high above the valley, bathing rooftops, temple gates, bridges, and distant rice fields in silver light. Somewhere beyond the town, an owl calls from the cedar forest. Its voice echoes only once before the mountains quietly absorb the sound. The world becomes still again. You realize that every place you have visited throughout the day has offered the same gentle lesson. The garden taught patience. The river taught reflection. The tea fields taught care. The temple taught stillness. And now, this quiet inn teaches rest. Not because the journey has ended, but because every meaningful journey is made richer by moments of peaceful pause. You remain in the moonlit courtyard a little longer, breathing the cool mountain air, watching thin clouds drift slowly across the stars, listening as the village settles completely into the calm embrace of night. Tomorrow, another sunrise will arrive beyond these mountains. The bamboo will whisper again. The temple bell will sound once more. Tea leaves will be gathered. Streams will continue flowing toward the valley. Life will quietly begin again. But tonight, the lanterns burn softly. The hearth glows warmly, and the peaceful heart of feudal Japan rests beneath the silent moon. The night passes quietly. The moon continues its slow journey across the sky, casting silver light over tiled rooftops, silent gardens, and the narrow canals that wind through the castle town. Inside the inn, the last ember in the hearth glows a deep crimson. Its warmth lingers in the room long after the flames have faded. Outside, the world remains wonderfully still. There is a peaceful moment that belongs neither to night nor to morning. It arrives before the first birds begin to sing. Before the first lantern is extinguished, before the first door slides open, you awaken gently. The inn is silent. The wooden beams overhead creak softly as the cool mountain air settles around the building. You slide the paper door aside. A pale blue light rests upon the eastern horizon. The stars are slowly beginning to disappear. Not all at once, one by one, as though they are quietly making room for another day. The courtyard is covered with a thin veil of morning dew. Each blade of moss glistens beneath the fading moonlight. The stone basin reflects both the last stars and the first colors of dawn. For a brief moment, night and morning exist together. The innkeeper is already awake. He kneels beside the hearth, arranging fresh charcoal with calm, practiced hands. No fire burns yet, only preparation. He understands that warmth begins long before the first flame. Outside the town, a narrow footpath follows a small irrigation canal toward the surrounding fields. You decide to walk before the village fully awakens. Mist drifts gently above the water. The canal moves so quietly that it seems almost asleep itself. A single white heron stands perfectly still near the bank. Its reflection is so clear that it is difficult to tell where the bird ends and the water begins. Without warning, it lifts gracefully into the cool morning air. Its wings barely disturb the silence. Farther along the path, you pass a small shrine tucked beneath towering cedar trees. A simple rope of braided straw hangs across its entrance. Fresh evergreen branches have been placed beside the wooden steps. Someone visited before sunrise. No footprints remain, only the quiet evidence of gratitude. The forest beyond the shrine is filled with the scent of cedar and damp earth. Tiny droplets fall from the branches whenever a breeze passes overhead. Each one lands softly upon the moss below. Nothing seems hurried. Even the wind moves with remarkable patience. As the eastern sky brightens, the outlines of distant mountains become clearer. Their peaks glow faintly with the first touch of sunlight. The valley below still sleeps beneath ribbons of pale mist. The castle rises above it all, silent, steady, watching another day begin. Then, from somewhere beyond the trees, comes a familiar sound. A temple bell. One clear note. Deep, gentle. Its voice rolls across the valley, touching the rooftops, the rice fields, the rivers, and the forests before slowly fading into the morning air. Moments later, birds begin answering the dawn. A bush warbler sings from a flowering plum tree. Sparrows flutter beneath the eaves of nearby homes. Swallows sweep gracefully above the canals, tracing delicate circles through the brightening sky. The village is waking once again. A paper lantern outside the inn is gently extinguished. A kitchen window slides open. Fresh steam rises into the crisp morning air. Somewhere, rice begins to cook. Somewhere else, tea water quietly starts to warm. The rhythm of yesterday returns, not because it must, but because it has always belonged here. You pause upon a small wooden bridge and look back toward the town. Soft golden sunlight now reaches the highest rooftops. The canals shimmer. The gardens awaken. The mountains welcome another peaceful morning. You smile, not because the journey is ending, but because places like this remind you that every sunrise carries the promise of another quiet story waiting to unfold. And with the gentle ringing of the morning bell still echoing through the valley, you continue your slow walk into a new day. The first rays of sunlight slowly spread across the valley. The mist that rested above the canals begins to lift, revealing quiet streets washed in soft golden light. Another peaceful day has begun. You leave the bridge behind and wander toward a neighborhood where the sound of craftsmanship greets the morning long before the voices of the town. The streets are still calm. Paper lanterns that glowed throughout the night now hang quietly beneath the eaves, waiting for another evening. Wooden shutters slide open one after another. The day awakens not with noise, but with gentle purpose. The first workshop belongs to a woodcarver. The scent of fresh cedar greets you before you reach the doorway. Inside, thin curls of pale wood rest upon the floor like ribbons. The craftsman sits beside an open window where the morning light falls across his workbench. He turns a small block of cypress in his hands. Only after studying its grain does he lift his carving knife. Each cut is careful, measured, patient. A single shaving falls, then another. Gradually, the outline of a small bird begins to emerge from the timber. It seems almost impossible that something so delicate has been hidden inside the wood all along. Outside, a pair of sparrows lands upon the workshop roof. Their cheerful songs mingle with the gentle scrape of blade against wood. Neither sound interrupts the other. Together, they become part of the morning. Farther along the street, you discover a paper maker's courtyard. Sheets of handmade washi dry upon broad wooden frames beneath the rising sun. The paper is so thin that the light shines gently through it. A woman carefully brushes water across fresh fibers with remarkable precision. Her movements are slow and graceful. The paper will one day become books, paintings, letters, or the soft screens that fill homes with warm morning light. Even the simplest materials may one day hold someone's memories. Nearby, a potter opens the doors of his kiln. A gentle wave of warmth escapes into the cool air. He removes several bowls one at a time, placing them carefully upon a wooden table. No two are identical. One carries a faint swirl of blue beneath its glaze. Another has a tiny ripple near its rim. He smiles at each difference. Perfection has never been the goal. Character has. Beyond the workshops, a narrow lane follows a shallow canal lined with flowering irises. Dragonflies skim effortlessly across the water. Their wings catch the sunlight before vanishing into the reeds. An elderly woman pauses on the small stone bridge, scattering a handful of grain for the ducks that gather below. She watches them for a moment before continuing on her morning walk. No one seems to hurry her. Time feels generous here. As the sun climbs a little higher, the town slowly fills with quiet life. A baker carries warm loaves wrapped in linen. A young messenger crosses the square with a carefully folded letter tucked safely inside his robe. Two apprentices sweep fallen petals from the entrance to a small shrine. Every task appears ordinary, yet together, they create the peaceful rhythm of the town. You stop beside a shaded bench beneath a flowering cherry tree. Although many blossoms have already fallen, a few still cling to the branches above. The breeze stirs them gently. One pale pink petal drifts into your hand. You watch it for a moment before allowing the wind to carry it onward. Some things are most beautiful because they do not last forever. A temple bell rings faintly across the valley. Its calm voice rolls over rooftops and gardens before fading into the brightening morning. The artisans continue their work. The canals continue flowing. The mountains continue watching over the town in silent patience. And as you rise to continue your walk, you realize that another peaceful chapter is waiting just beyond the next quiet street. The artisan district slowly fades behind you. The quiet tapping of chisels and the gentle rustle of handmade paper become softer with every step until they are carried away by the morning breeze. Ahead, a narrow stone lane curves between low wooden walls. Climbing ivy reaches toward the tiled rooftops. Tiny drops of moisture cling to its leaves, sparkling beneath the early sun. The air feels different, cooler. A gentle veil of clouds has drifted across the valley, softening the bright morning light. Nothing suggests a storm, only a passing shower. The first raindrop lands upon a smooth stone beside the path. Another settles quietly upon a maple leaf. Then another. Within moments, a light spring rain begins to fall. It is so delicate that the birds continue singing. The breeze continues moving through the bamboo. The village simply welcomes it. You continue walking. The stone path darkens beneath the rain. Its polished surface reflects the nearby gardens like a quiet mirror. Each raindrop creates a tiny circle before disappearing into the next. A gardener kneels beneath the wide branches of a flowering camellia. Rather than seeking shelter, he gently adjusts a bamboo support beneath one heavy branch. The rain does not interrupt his work. It becomes part of it. Nearby, a row of carefully shaped bonsai trees rests beneath the shelter of a wooden veranda. Their twisted trunks seem impossibly ancient. Some have likely been cared for by more than one generation. Each branch has been guided patiently over many years. Not forced, simply encouraged. A shallow stone basin slowly fills with rainwater. Tiny ripples spread across its surface before becoming still once more. A pair of sparrows lands at its edge to drink. For several quiet moments, they remain perfectly content before disappearing into the nearby hedge. The fragrance of the garden changes. Wet cedar, fresh moss, blooming jasmine, damp earth. The scent is gentle enough that each breath feels almost refreshing. Farther along the path, you discover a small covered walkway connecting two traditional homes. Rain falls softly beyond its wooden roof. From this quiet shelter, you watch droplets gather along the edge of the eaves. One by one, they fall into a narrow stream below. Their rhythm is slow, comforting, almost musical. Across the garden, a woman carefully gathers rainwater inside a glazed ceramic jar. She smiles as the cool water fills the vessel. Nothing here is hurried. Even the rain is welcomed with gratitude. The shower begins to fade as quietly as it arrived. Sunlight gradually returns through the thin clouds. Tiny drops remaining on every leaf suddenly glow like scattered pearls. Spider webs stretched between low branches become visible for only a few magical moments, each thread outlined by countless sparkling droplets. A rainbow appears faintly above the distant hills. It is soft, subtle, easy to miss unless you happen to be looking. You pause beneath a wooden gate covered with climbing wisteria. The rain has passed. The gardens breathe quietly in the fresh morning air. The sound of dripping water slowly gives way to birdsong once more. The village continues its gentle rhythm, unchanged. The workshops are alive again. The canals flow steadily toward the valley. The mountains remain wrapped in soft morning light. You step forward. Beyond the gardens, another winding street disappears between flowering trees. Another peaceful corner of feudal Japan waits patiently ahead. And with calm, unhurried footsteps, you continue your journey. The garden path slowly gives way to the quiet edge of the river once again. The rain has left behind a remarkable clarity. Every stone seems richer in color. Every leaf reflects the soft afternoon light. The current flows gently between moss-covered banks, carrying a handful of pale cherry blossom petals that somehow remained hidden until the rain revealed them once more. You follow the river downstream. Its gentle murmur has become familiar now, like an old companion quietly walking beside you. Ahead, the river widens until it meets a small landing built from weathered cedar. Several narrow, wooden boats rest peacefully against the dock. They rise and fall almost imperceptibly with the movement of the water. An elderly boatman is preparing the last crossing of the afternoon. His boat is beautifully simple. Its polished planks have grown smooth after countless journeys. A single lantern hangs from a curved wooden post near the bow, though it remains unlit while daylight still lingers. The boatman smiles as he notices you approaching. Without speaking, he steadies the boat with one hand. You step aboard. The wood shifts gently beneath your feet before settling once more. The boat glides away from the dock. No engine disturbs the silence. Only the slow push of the long wooden pole against the riverbed. The movement is effortless. Water parts quietly around the bow. Tiny ripples spread across the surface before fading into perfect stillness behind you. The village slowly drifts past. Wooden homes appear between flowering trees. Stone bridges arch gracefully over narrow canals. Children wave from a riverside path before returning to their quiet games. Everything seems softer when viewed from the water. A kingfisher suddenly darts across the river. Its brilliant blue feathers flash in the sunlight before disappearing beneath the branches of a willow tree. The boatman pauses for only a heartbeat to admire the bird, then continues onward with the same steady rhythm. One careful push, a gentle glide, another careful push. The river asks for patience. Nothing more, nothing less. Farther downstream, reeds sway gently in the breeze. Dragonflies hover above the water, their delicate wings shimmering whenever they catch the light. A turtle rests upon a smooth rock, warmed by the afternoon sun. As the boat approaches, it quietly slips beneath the surface, leaving only widening circles behind. The river accepts every small movement without complaint. You notice woven fishing baskets resting along the opposite bank. Nearby, a fisherman repairs one using thin strips of bamboo. His hands move with quiet confidence. Every knot is tied carefully. Every strand finds its proper place. The work seems almost meditative. The breeze shifts, carrying the fragrance of cedar forests from the hills, mixed with fresh water, wet stone, and the faint sweetness of blooming iris flowers growing along the river's edge. The boat rounds a gentle bend. Ahead, the mountains rise once more, reflected perfectly upon the calm surface below. For a brief moment, the river becomes a mirror. Sky above, sky below, clouds drifting in both directions at once. The boatman rests his pole across the side of the vessel. The current alone carries you for a little while. Neither of you feels the need to interrupt the silence. Sometimes the most memorable conversations are the ones shared without words. The afternoon light slowly grows warmer. Golden reflections stretch across the river. The lantern hanging at the bow begins to catch the first hints of evening. Soon it too will glow, not to conquer the darkness, only to accompany it. At last, the opposite shore comes into view. A small cedar dock waits beneath the shade of ancient willow trees. The boat glides gently alongside it, without the slightest jolt. The journey ends as quietly as it began. You step onto the wooden pier. Behind you, the elderly boatman offers a respectful bow before getting his boat back toward the center of the river. Soon, he becomes only a quiet silhouette drifting through the golden reflections of the late afternoon. You remain for a moment beside the water, listening to the gentle current, watching the fading sunlight dance across its surface. Then, following a narrow riverside path lined with smooth stones and blooming irises, you continue toward another peaceful corner of feudal Japan. The riverside path continues beneath a canopy of ancient willow branches. Their long green leaves brush softly against the water, tracing delicate patterns upon the slow current before the river quietly carries them away. Behind you, the gentle silhouette of the boatman grows smaller. Soon, his cedar boat becomes only another peaceful shape reflected upon the water. Ahead, the path narrows once more. Small white stones line its edges. Wild irises bloom beside the bank, their violet petals moving gently whenever the afternoon breeze drifts through the valley. The air has become pleasantly cool. Somewhere nearby, water tumbles over smooth rocks hidden among the trees. Its voice is steady, comforting, almost like distant conversation. You follow the sound. The path bends around a grove of tall cedar trees before revealing a narrow wooden bridge stretching across the river. It is beautifully simple. No painted railings, no elaborate carvings, only weathered cedar beams resting upon stone foundations that have stood through many seasons of rain and snow. The bridge carries no sense of urgency. It has quietly welcomed travelers for many years. Farmers carrying baskets of vegetables, children returning from the fields, monks walking toward the mountain temple, merchants leading small pack horses along the valley road. Now, it welcomes you. You step onto the first plank. The timber responds with a gentle creak. Not a complaint, merely the familiar voice of old wood greeting another traveler. Halfway across, you pause. The river below widens into a shallow pool where sunlight reaches the smooth stones beneath the surface. Silver fish move lazily through the clear water. Occasionally one turns, catching the light for only a heartbeat before disappearing once more into the deeper current. On the far bank, an old maple tree stretches its branches above the water. Several crimson leaves have already begun to appear among the green. Although summer still lingers, autumn has quietly announced its distant arrival. Nature never rushes from one season to the next. It changes one leaf at a time. A faint breeze crosses the bridge. The cedar trees answer with a deep whisper high above your head. Unlike bamboo, whose voice is light and delicate, the cedars speak slowly. Their branches sway with quiet confidence. The sound resembles the distant breathing of the mountains themselves. Beyond the bridge, a narrow clearing opens beside the river. There, beneath the shade of the tallest cedar, sits a stone bench worn smooth by generations of visitors. You sit for a while. There is nowhere else to be. The afternoon sun filters through the branches in long golden rays. Dust dances lazily within the light. A squirrel emerges briefly from behind the roots of the great tree, pauses to study you with quiet curiosity, then disappears once again into the forest. Nothing here seems afraid. Everything simply shares the same peaceful space. Nearby, a young father teaches his son how to fold a small paper boat. Together, they place it gently upon the edge of the stream. The tiny vessel begins its slow journey downstream. Neither tries to guide it. They simply watch as the current carries it around smooth stones and beneath overhanging branches. The boy smiles. His father smiles too. Some lessons require no explanation, only experience. The paper boat gradually disappears around the bend. The river continues onward, unchanged. You remain seated beneath the cedar a little longer, listening carefully. Birdsong, flowing water, leaves moving in the breeze. A distant temple bell carried faintly across the valley. Each sound arrives softly. Each fades naturally. None interrupts another. Together, they become the quiet rhythm of the afternoon. Eventually, you rise. The bridge waits behind you. The forest path continues ahead. Far beyond the cedar grove, the rooftops of another small hamlet begin to appear between the trees, their dark tiles glowing beneath the warm light of the descending sun. Another peaceful place. Another unhurried story. And with calm footsteps, you continue your gentle walk through the timeless landscapes of feudal Japan. The cedar bridge slowly disappears behind you. Its weathered timbers remain hidden beneath the forest canopy, where the river continues whispering to the roots of ancient trees. The path ahead becomes softer beneath your feet. Pine needles and fallen cedar leaves cover the earth like a natural carpet, muffling every step. The afternoon sun has begun its slow descent. Its light is warmer now, gentler. Long golden beams weave between the trunks, painting shifting patterns across the woodland floor. The forest gradually opens. Beyond the final line of cedars, a small hamlet rests peacefully beside a gentle hillside. Unlike the castle town, there are no canals, no busy workshops, no temple gates towering above the rooftops. Only a handful of wooden homes gathered together, as though they have quietly kept one another company for generations. Thin ribbons of smoke rise from their chimneys. The fragrance reaches you before the village itself. Fresh cedar, cooking rice, a little miso, a little charcoal, the unmistakable scent of another peaceful evening approaching. A narrow dirt lane winds between the homes. Children have drawn small circles in the earth with sticks while waiting for their parents to finish the day's work. A wooden spinning top rests forgotten beside the road. Nearby, 2 sandals have been left neatly outside a doorway. Inside, quiet laughter drifts through an open shoji screen. A grandmother sits upon the veranda, slowly mending a cotton kimono. Her needle moves steadily through indigo fabric. Every stitch is small, almost invisible. Yet together, they restore the garment for another season. She pauses only long enough to watch a pair of swallows circle above the rooftops before returning calmly to her work. Across the lane, a young father splits cedar logs for the coming evening. The axe falls with measured rhythm. Not forcefully, simply enough. Each log separates cleanly before being stacked carefully beneath the eaves where tomorrow's rain cannot reach them. Preparation here never feels anxious. It feels peaceful. Beside one cottage grows a small persimmon tree. Its branches are heavy with bright orange fruit. A little girl reaches carefully for the lowest one. Her mother smiles and gently steadies the branch. The fruit is placed into a woven basket, already holding several others. No words are exchanged. The moment is quiet enough to understand on its own. A narrow irrigation channel follows the edge of the lane. Crystal clear water slips gently past smooth stones before continuing toward nearby rice fields. Several ducks paddle lazily through the shallow current. Occasionally they dip beneath the surface, only to emerge moments later with tiny droplets sparkling across their feathers. The hamlet seems wonderfully content with its simplicity. There are no grand buildings, no crowded streets, only ordinary moments unfolding with extraordinary calm. An elderly carpenter sits beneath a simple wooden shelter. Before him rests a low stool in need of repair. Rather than replacing the entire piece, he carefully removes a single damaged leg. A fresh length of cypress has already been shaped to fit perfectly. He turns it slowly in his hands, studying the grain before gently setting it into place. The repaired stool stands firmly once more. He smiles with quiet satisfaction. Things made with care deserve to be cared for in return. The breeze freshens slightly. Wind passes through a row of tall bamboo planted beside the outer gardens. Their leaves answer with a soft whisper that blends beautifully with the distant murmur of the river you crossed not long ago. High above, clouds drift lazily toward the mountains. Their shadows slide slowly across the hillsides before dissolving into warm afternoon light. Time feels wonderfully generous. No one seems to measure it. They simply live within it. You continue toward the edge of the hamlet, where a small hillside overlooks the surrounding valley. From here, the homes appear nestled gently among cedar trees and fields of late summer green. Smoke rises peacefully into the still air. The distant castle is only a pale silhouette upon the horizon now. It feels far away, yet somehow still connected to every quiet place you have visited. You rest for a moment beneath a flowering plum tree. Its branches sway gently overhead. A few petals, stubborn enough to remain long after the main bloom has passed, drift lazily toward the grass below. The afternoon grows softer still. Soon, evening will begin gathering across the valley once again. Lanterns will be lit. Tea kettles will warm. Families will gather around low wooden tables. But for now, the hamlet breathes slowly beneath the golden light. And you continue your gentle walk, carrying its quiet peace with you toward whatever calm landscape waits beyond the next bend in the path. The sun has long disappeared behind the western mountains. Evening has quietly embraced the valley. One by one, paper lanterns glow beneath the wooden eaves of every home. Their warm light spills gently onto narrow stone paths, polished bridges, and still canals. The village breathes more slowly now. The day's work has come to its peaceful conclusion. From the hillside where you stand, Feudal Japan stretches quietly before you. The castle watches over the valley beneath a sky slowly filling with stars. The river continues its endless journey through fields and forests. The bamboo groves sway softly in the evening breeze. The tea hills rest beneath the fading light. Every place you visited today now seems connected by the same gentle silence. You begin walking once more. The familiar path carries you back toward the village where your journey first began. The gardens are quieter now. The koi ponds reflect only lanterns and moonlight. Cherry blossom petals continue drifting from the branches above, floating lazily through the cool night air before settling upon moss, stone, and still water. No one gathers them. They are beautiful precisely because they are allowed to fall. As you pass the tea house once more, the bamboo fountain tips gently forward. A single hollow knock echoes across the garden. Then silence. Moments later, the quiet rhythm begins again. The tea master has already finished for the evening. The ceramic bowls rest neatly upon their shelves. The charcoal has cooled. The room waits patiently for tomorrow's sunrise. Beyond the garden, the narrow streets glow beneath hundreds of paper lanterns. Their warm amber light transforms ordinary wooden homes into places of extraordinary comfort. Families gather together behind sliding shoji screens. Children listen quietly as grandparents tell familiar stories. Steam rises gently from evening meals. The scent of rice, miso, cedar, and fresh tea drifts peacefully through the night. The sounds are wonderfully small. A kettle quietly simmering, the soft closing of a wooden door, the gentle laughter of neighbors sharing another ordinary evening. Nothing demands attention. Everything invites rest. You arrive once more beside the river. The same current that greeted you this morning continues flowing beneath the moon. The reflections of lanterns stretch across its surface like ribbons of gold. A single wooden boat drifts quietly near the shore, tied gently to an old cedar post. The elderly boatman has already returned home. His work, like the river, will begin again tomorrow. Looking upward, the stars seem brighter now. Without the lights of the modern world, the heavens stretch endlessly from mountain to mountain. The same stars watched over these villages more than 400 years ago. They shone above the tea fields, above the temples, above the bamboo forests, above every traveler who paused beneath these skis. Some things change, others quietly remain. A cool breeze moves gently through the valley. It carries every familiar fragrance one final time. Fresh cedar, flowing water, cherry blossoms, green tea, warm timber, clean mountain air. Together, they have become the scent of this peaceful journey. You close your eyes for just a moment, listening. The bamboo whispering in the wind, the river passing beneath the bridge, the distant bell of the mountain temple, a night bird calling softly from the cedar forest, the quiet breathing of the village as families prepare for sleep. Nothing more, nothing less. It is enough. When you open your eyes again, you understand that history is not remembered only through emperors, battles, or castles. It is remembered through ordinary mornings, through hands preparing tea, through artisans shaping wood and clay, through children chasing blossoms along quiet streets, through gardeners tending moss after gentle rain, through families sharing simple meals beneath paper lanterns. These peaceful moments rarely appear in history books, yet they are the moments that truly gave life to an age. Tonight, the valley rests beneath a sky filled with stars. Tomorrow, another sunrise will return. The tea leaves will once again gather the morning dew. The temple bell will greet the dawn. The marketplace will slowly awaken. The river will continue carrying blossoms toward the sea. Life will quietly begin again. But for now, the lanterns glow softly. The mountains keep their silent watch. The cedar forests breathe with the evening wind. And somewhere, beyond the quiet rooftops of the village, the last cherry blossom of the day slowly falls to the earth. Thank you for walking these peaceful paths through feudal Japan. Thank you for wandering beside rivers, beneath bamboo forests, across tea-covered hills, and through lantern-lit streets. Most of all, thank you for slowing down long enough to discover the quiet beauty hidden within everyday life. Until our next journey, may your dreams be as peaceful as these gardens, as gentle as the flowing river, and as timeless as the mountains watching over them. Good night, sleep peacefully, and let the spirit of old Japan remain with you until morning.